And welcome. It's Michigan's AutoTalk Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is producer Phil Tower. Al and John have this episode off. We want to remind you, every episode of Michigan's AutoTalk is about celebrating the automobile. Everything with 4 or 6 or whatever number of wheels, everything automotive. Plus, we're also about helping and supporting you, the car and truck owners across our great state of Michigan, birthplace of the automotive industry. And we've learned our listeners are both male and female. I mean, come on now, it's 2023. By the way, we're on the Spotify app. Our home base is the iHeartRadio app, and we are produced out of iHeartRadio in Grand Rapids. You can find all of our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Anything that will play audio, even if you have a pet rock that will play audio. See, I just dated myself. That happens. I'm very pleased to welcome back to this episode. She was long overdue, and then she wrote another awesome story, Phoebe Wall-Howard, who covers a lot of stuff for the automotive world for the wonderful Detroit Free Press, freep.com. She's written another great article about women and their Broncos, women who are modifying Broncos. And we got to get the story. By the way, this story was published January 27th, just a couple of weeks ago in the Detroit Free Press, freep.com again. Phoebe Wall-Howard, how are you?
It's great to talk with you.
You found another great one again. First of all, give us the backstory for this. And for people, I know a lot of people will say, well, will I be able to read the story? You know, I think you guys are running a promo right now where for $1 you get a month or two or something like that. So here's my unsolicited plug. The Free Press is not paying me a penny for this. Take advantage of it because it's a great newspaper. You can read it online, and you can read this story we're talking about, which is a pretty amazing story, which is all about these women who are literally spending thousands of dollars to trick out the new Ford Broncos.
It's an incredible trend, and it's what the most surprising thing we found. Obviously, you know, Jeep has been a big player in the aftermarket. This is big money, and the most astonishing thing to think about is that 2022 set an all-time record for spending on this, $50.9 billion. So the companies who are involved in aftermarket, like I said, Jeep was way out front on this. Bronco has really taken a bite, first of all, in terms of buyers. Women love the Bronco. They love Jeep, but they really love the Bronco. And I was surprised to learn from Ford, you know, that they're tracking buyers. They're tracking by gender and different demographics to see what kind of money is being spent. And, you know, in the auto industry, the companies will tell you that women often make decisions behind the scenes. So this is where companies are saying, let's directly go after the women to do this kind of thing. And when I'm talking to the women, this is more than 1 in 3 Bronco owners is female.
Yeah.
And
wait a minute. I want to stop you right there. Did Ford anticipate that? They had to have, right?
No.
No.
And the other thing is, you know, these are women who are, it's every job you can imagine. It's every income level. That this, in many ways, the Bronco, you know, it's a relief where you've got mommies who say, you know, I'm with the kids all day and now I want to go off-road and I want to drive through the woods and I want to drive through the sand and I want to, you know, it's like a release. But the women are as on top of the tricking out as the men. And, you know, the vehicles start at $34,000, but these are people who are spending, you know, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000. That's common. When I spoke with companies doing the work, they said it's 10 to 15,000 is typical, but they have people spending as much as $100,000 after they take the vehicle.
Stuff that, you know, money they'll never get back, but if they love it, you know, it's, I mean, who's to fault them? I love the story in your article at freep.com, the article from January 27th, which is entitled Women Are Spending Thousands to Trick Out New Ford Broncos by Phoebe Wall-Howard. You profile Courtney Peterson, who's a 35-year-old mom from Belvedere, Illinois. She had a babysitter who had a Bronco when she was younger. So there's some sentiment there. She sold a Chrysler Pacifica minivan. I love this. Switched to a Bronco and now is going all in on bigger tires, really expensive upgraded suspensions, lifting the entire vehicle, and so on and so forth. And they're totally all in on this. Like you said, hey, let's, go out in the woods and climb some rocks and some down trees and things like that. This is a big deal.
Well, what's so funny too is people joke that buyers will pick up a Jeep or a Bronco and just drive to the mall. A lot of folks are critical and say, "Oh, come on, you don't need that. You're not an off-roader." But these women, they take the vehicle off-road. And Courtney was funny because she said her kids just freaked out. I mean, they're like, "Mom, don't get rid of the minivan." And now they're having, more fun than ever. But it's just, it's a big surprise in the industry. And it's fun. Sometimes as an automotive reporter, I feel like a sociologist.
Yeah. Very
What
true.
are our trends, right? What are the trends? How are people living? But it's amazing. I'm trying to figure out, why is 2022 a record year? That's not the first or second year of COVID. It's just that everyone's getting comfortable with this. And another thing I learned is that women are developing clubs. So Ford Motor Company is very aggressive about creating off-road clubs and activities. So women are, in days past, you might sign up for a sewing circle as a woman. Today you're going to join a Bronco club and meet people everywhere and be outside.
I love this. And what I especially love is there's a woman who, along with her husband, Caitlin Blake in Kingsley, owns one of these aftermarket parts places up in Kingsley, Michigan, where you can, buy all kinds of incredible gear, including some amazing wheels for your Bronco. And by the way, these are the Bronco Sports or the full-size Broncos, or it differs depending on the woman who is the owner?
Yeah, this is predominantly the big Bronco. Bronco Sports are definitely included. And, but we're talking the big Bronco. And
Okay.
Women, that was surprising in this reporting, not just the number of companies owned by women who are doing this aftermarket work, but also women who are starting companies where they're doing work on their vehicles. The public responds, they take the vehicle out on the road. People gather around in parking lots and ask them what they're doing. But women are setting up their own companies with websites and building their own businesses around Bronco.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Phoebe Wall-Howard writes for the Detroit Free Press, covers everything automotive. She's one of our favorite all-time guests on Michigan's AutoTalk podcast as we are nearing 100 episodes, and we will have her back again soon. Phoebe Wall-Howard, as always, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And that puts a wraps on episode number 95 of Michigan's AutoTalk podcast. Remember to follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast, and be sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com, Michigan's AutoTalk podcast. For host Al Schwinkendorf and John Puick, I'm producer Phil Tower. Thanks for listening.